What's going on? This is Out of Sports with another top 5 WWE, and this time it's going to be top 5 best WWE Intercontinental Champions. And I'm just go ahead and say it. This is going to be more modern. Like, it's not going to be a lot of old people. It's really not going to be any, like, reigns from the 90s. This is really just from the 2000s onwards. But, it is a top 5, but I'm going to add honorable mention. And I'm going to put in, the honorable mention is going to be Cody Rhodes. Both of his reigns in 2011 to 2012. I thought both of those was really good. He had feuds with Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase. And then he went on a feud with Big Show at WrestleMania. And Cody Rhodes, he was a really good Intercontinental Champion. But on to the top 5. Number 5 on my list would be Christian. Christian is a 4-time Intercontinental Champion. And every time he held it, I don't know, he just seemed like that title was just perfect for him. Christian, the first time he had it, I think, was in like 2001. He had it for like a month, and it was during the time when him and Edge had just broke up as a tag team. That was the first time he had it. He had it twice in 2003, and then he didn't have it for a while, and then he got it back in 2012, and that was the last time he had it. And I just felt like Christian was just like the perfect Intercontinental Champion. Really thought he had just really good matches with Booker T and Rob Van Dam, Edge, The Miz. You know. So number 5 is going to be Christian. Number 4, I'm going to go with Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy is a 5-time Intercontinental Champion. Recently just won his 5th one back in, I think it was August 2020, a few months ago. He won his 5th one there. He's a 5-time champ. And the reason I put him on this list is because he back in when he had it in 07, 08, he did something that a lot of people didn't do, and something that nobody has done in a long time. He was the Intercontinental Champion in a world title match. Like, he was the Intercontinental Champion, but challenged for the WWE Championship at a pay-per-view. I can't remember the last time somebody did that, you know. And I believe that was during his fourth reign. But his first reign came back in 2001 when he beat Triple H. It didn't last long. It lasted about it was less than a week. It was from a SmackDown to a Raw. And but his second and third reigns were both, he beat Johnny Nitro, John Morrison. He beat him for both of those. And but his best reign, in my opinion, was the 4th one. He beat Umaga for it. He had a lot of good matches with Umaga, and he ended up losing it to Chris Jericho. But he faced Mr. Kennedy, Shelton Benjamin, Triple H. At that time, Jeff Hardy was having a lot of good matches. And then like I said, he faced Randy Orton for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble, you know, as the Intercontinental Champion. So, and he was in the Elimination Chamber. So, Jeff Hardy is going to be number 4 on the list. And the top 3 was actually hard, but number 3, I'm going to go with Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam is a 6-time Intercontinental Champion. I think I remember all 6 of them. I'm not sure. But I know the first time he won it was at WrestleMania 18. It was in a match against, was it William Regal? I want to say William Regal, but I might be wrong. But he won it at WrestleMania 18. And after that, he had really good matches with Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero and Chris Jericho. And then in 2003, he continued to be on Raw. After him and Kane broke up as a tag team, he got back in the Intercontinental title division, and he won it a couple more times. And he ended up going to SmackDown in 2004. And so, he there was no way he could win the title. But the next year in 2005, he went back to Raw, but he was injured, so he didn't even return until actually 2006. But when he came back, a few months after he came back, he ended up beating Shelton Benjamin for the Intercontinental title. It was his last reign, and I think it only lasted for it was either 8 days or it was 15 days. I'm not sure. But RVD had really good matches with Chris Jericho, that match with William Regal at WrestleMania, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Shelton Benjamin. That was, those are some big names right there. And I really liked all his matches with those guys. And also he had a good match with Randy Orton back in 2003. So number 3 on the list is Rob Van Dam. Number 2, I'm going to go with the man who holds the record for most reigns for this championship. Is going to be Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is number 2 on my list. There's not really much to say. Everybody knows he's a 9-time Intercontinental champion. He won it. Probably 1999 was probably the first time he won it. And then he just continued on. He probably won it every year he was there, almost. But the ones I remember, the one I remember the most is in 2009. Him and Rey Mysterio. They had some really good matches in 2009. Him and Rey Mysterio. I think he only won it one time during that feud, but he also beat Jeff Hardy for one of his reigns back in 2008. He beat Rob Van Dam twice to win it. And Chris Jericho is a 9-time Intercontinental champion. What else can you say? Chris Jericho, number 2 on the list. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, So, Number 1 on the list, though. It can't be anybody. In my opinion, it can't be anybody else. Number 1 on the list has to be The Miz. The Miz is the greatest Intercontinental champion that's ever breathed in anything. The Miz, there's not a better Intercontinental champion than The Miz. The Miz has, I think he won it. Yeah, he's won it 8 times. If he wins it one more time, he ties Chris Jericho. But the difference is The Miz he's I think second in the combined days as champion of all time. The amount of days that a person has actually has held that championship, he's second all time. So I think that says a little bit more than Chris Jericho's 9. So that's why I put Miz above him. But The Miz, he won his first title from Christian. He's had a lot of good feuds with Christian. He had a good feud with Kofi Kingston for the Intercontinental Championship back in 2012. But his greatest run, of course, was 2016 to 2018 when he feuded with he went to SmackDown. He ended up feuding with the general manager, who was Daniel Bryan. And then he had that feud with Dolph Ziggler that was really good. He then moved on to Dean Ambrose feud was alright. But after that, it was 2017, and that's when Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel joined him. And it was just everything he did as Intercontinental champion. When he had it, it was like he felt as if he had the world championship. That's what he made it feel like that, And I also liked his 2014 runs too. He also had feuds with Dolph Ziggler at that time, but he ended up his last reign. He beat Roman Reigns in I think January 2018, and he held it for a couple months until he lost it at WrestleMania to Seth Rollins. It was in a triple threat with Seth, Miz, and Finn Balor. And I don't think he's even, other than his rematch after he lost it, I don't think he's even challenged for that title since. And that's almost 3 years ago. But I believe that one day The Miz is going to be a 10-time Intercontinental Champion. He's going to pass Chris Jericho and Reigns, and he's going to be the number one in combined days. But either way, even if he doesn't, in my opinion, The Miz is still the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. So that's my list. Top 5 Intercontinental Champion. Greatest Intercontinental Champions of all time.